Today I made some Anzac biscuits, or cookies as we would call them here in the US, which are from Australia and New Zealand. And I got the recipe from a cookbook called Milk Street, which is by Christopher Kimball, who made the Cook's Illustrated magazines, which are some of my favorite. So these cookies are basically oats, coconut, butter, and then golden syrup, which is not common here in the US. So they have a substitute mixture of honey, butter, brown sugar, and coffee. I just happen to have this 5-gallon jug of raw honey. We melt all this together. And then there's also some coffee and vanilla and some orange rind. And I'm not sure that all that would be in the Australian version, but it definitely had lots of flavor, so I'm not complaining. So we're just going to melt all the liquid ingredients together and the sugars and the butter until it comes to a boil, and that's going to be our golden syrup. Now, I guess the thing about this recipe is it's pretty healthy. It was made for the soldiers during the war, and it also ships well and stores well. So there's no eggs in it, and so that makes it last longer, kind of like shortbread. Here's the toasted oats and coconut. I was a little bit short on the coconut. I didn't have quite enough. I'm about a 1/4 cup short. Okay, and whole wheat flour is another ingredient in this. And it had us use salted butter instead of salt. I used unsalted, so I just stuck like an 1/8 teaspoon of salt in there. Now, this is the baking soda, but it doesn't go in the dry, it goes in the wet ingredients, which makes it foam up, which is really cool. It reminds me of the sponge candy I would eat as a kid. All right, now we're gonna just mix everything together. So the dry and the wet all together. So I'm going to use a spatula to pour it out of the pan so I can get every last bit and then mix it together. Now, I probably should have used more coconut, and also I put a little too much honey, and I should have let this cool so that the batter was stiffer before I baked it, because when I bake it, they get a little too flat and spread too much. So that's what I would do different if I made these again, which I plan to. So I will I don't necessarily think you have to refrigerate the dough, but I didn't, the batch I did after these were much neater because it was almost like soupy at this point. And you can see when I take them out how much they ran together. I actually like how thin and crispy they taste, so I'd probably just need to spread them out farther. And this is the second batch. You can see they didn't spread quite so much. Anyway, they were really delicious, and I think they'll even taste better in a couple days. I hope you enjoy this video.